People think Christmas is about warmth and family, joy and giving, and I used to think that too. Until the year I spent the holiday alone in my new house in Maine. I had just moved there in early December, thinking a quiet, snow-blanketed village would be the perfect escape from the chaos of city life. It was meant to be peaceful. It became a nightmare I still haven't woken up from. The house was a creaky old Victorian on the edge of town, surrounded by pine woods in a graveyard that the realtor conveniently called historical. I didn't care. I wanted solitude, inspiration for my writing, and a fresh start. The locals were polite but distant. They told me the area was beautiful, but lonely in winter. I liked that idea. I thought I did. By the second week of December, snow was falling constantly, and the wind had a voice all its own. It howled through the cracks in the windows like it had something to say. I spent most of my time near the fireplace, trying to write, sipping hot cider, staring out at the gray trees. That's when I first noticed the carolers. They came one evening, just after sunset. I heard faint singing, high and cold, drifting from the front yard. I looked out and saw 4 figures in Victorian dress, bonnets, cloaks, top hats. They stood perfectly still, their mouths open in song, though I couldn't make out the lyrics. The melody was strange, not a tune I recognized. I opened the door expecting them to stop and greet me, but they didn't even flinch. Their eyes were blank. Their mouths moved too wide, too slowly. Something about them felt wrong, like watching mannequins imitate people. I tried to speak, to ask who they were, but the words stuck in my throat. A wave of dread washed over me. I slammed the door and locked it. When I looked again a moment later, they were gone. No footprints in the snow, no retreating shadows, just an empty yard in the wind. I told myself it was a hallucination, too much time alone. Maybe the cider had gone bad, but the next night they returned. This time there were 6 of them, 2 children among them. Their song was louder, still unintelligible, but it scraped at something inside me, like a memory I didn't want. I stayed away from the windows, didn't open the door. I covered my ears, curled up by the fire, and waited. When morning came, they were gone again, but I found something under my doormat, a cracked porcelain doll's head, its mouth wide open in song. I should have left, packed a bag and driven until I ran out of gas, but something held me there, like invisible hands gripping my ankles. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. I just watched, night after night, as more of them came. 8, 10, 12, a growing choir of blank-eyed carolers, their songs growing louder, more discordant. One night, I swear the windows vibrated with it. I tried calling the police. The line went dead. My phone wouldn't charge. I smashed my laptop when it began playing their song on its own. No matter what I did, I couldn't drown them out. And then they changed. They began moving closer to the house. Each night, a few steps nearer. First the edge of the yard, then the front steps. One night, I found them in the backyard too, encircling the house. Their mouths were stretching now, inhumanly wide, the skin cracking at the corners. Bloodless, expressionless. On Christmas Eve, I nailed every window shut. I pushed furniture against the doors. I sat in the center of the living room, holding the fireplace poker like a weapon, shaking. The singing began as soon as the sun dipped, and this time I understood the words. It wasn't English, not any language I've ever heard spoken, but I understood asterisk. It was an invitation, a command. They were calling me out. At midnight, the fire died, not slowly, but all at once, like it had been snuffed by a breath. The house went cold instantly. The singing stopped. Silence. Then came the knock. One slow knock at the front door, then another, then from the back, then from every wall of the house. Soft, patient knocks, like they weren't in any hurry. They knew I couldn't run. I covered my ears. I prayed. I wept. I screamed. Nothing stopped it, and then the front door opened. I didn't see it swing. It was just open, and there they stood, all of them, lining the walkway, the porch, the threshold. I couldn't count how many anymore. The ones in front stepped aside. A figure walked through them, Taller than the rest, draped in black velvet. Its face was covered by a wooden mask painted with a child's smile. The mask didn't move, but the voice came from it, deep and warm, like a choir singing through one mouth. It said my name. I don't remember what happened after that. I woke up on Christmas morning in the graveyard behind the house. No coat, no shoes, just my nightshirt, soaked in snow and blood I couldn't place. My skin was ice. My voice was gone. The house was locked tight when I returned. Silent. The fire was lit again. Everything looked normal, but on the wall above the fireplace, in soot or something darker, were the words, "Welcome to the choir." It's been 5 years. Every Christmas, I hear them, even if I'm in a different state, even in a crowded city. I'll hear the song, distant at first, then closer. I don't open doors anymore. I don't decorate. I don't celebrate. Because they're still out there, waiting for me to join the song. And one year, I know I will.